Thanks for listening to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in American soccer. And don't forget to subscribe.
Hello everyone, welcome to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast. My name's Steven Jotter, and joining me, as always, is Jake Watroba and Arman. And on today's episode, we talk about the U.S. men's national team and Major League Soccer. Before we get to anything, you know the drill. Hit the subscribe button, leave us a 5-star review, and follow us at Uncle Sam's Soccer Pod. Listeners, boys, welcome. We are recording here Wednesday night during the midweek MLS action. We will not be able to talk about any of the games, not only because they are currently going on right now, but Jake's got a game recording and we're not allowed to talk about it, Arman. But did you see?
Yeah, it's a great game. I mean, you see the score? Ooh. I don't know if Jake will be happy or
I'm in the
upset.
20th minute of a 0-0 game. It could be 5-0 Houston. It could be 5-0 Minnesota United. I don't know. It's 0-0 right now, 20th minute, and all you guys are doing is telling me, "Oh, damn, Thomas Chacon," or "Oh, damn, Vito Manone just scored." I get that every 30 seconds out of the blue.
Oh!
So, yeah, I get one of those.
Wow, what a strike from Aiko Para. We love to see it.
Thundering strike.
Hey, he's in contention for MLS Defender of the Year. Just saying. It's not ludicrous.
So what's our version of that award?
We'll come up with that later. Anyway, Jake and Arman, the U.S. men's national team played a friendly against Uruguay in St. Louis. Jake, what happened?
Well, Steven, the U.S. men's national team came away with a 1-1 draw against Uruguay, who ranked 5th in the FIFA standings on Tuesday night. LAFC's Brian Rodriguez scored the goal for the visitors, while a fluky, deflected cross from Nick Lima found the head of Jordan Morris, who was standing at the far post, to equalize for the U.S. The U.S. were able to dominate the possession battle against Uruguay's B team 59% to 41%, which I'm sure is something that will make Greg Berhalter proud. Berhalter post-match said, "We just played two different teams with two very important challenges. Against CONCACAF teams, we will play teams that are very compact like Uruguay. We have to understand how to break those teams down. Mexico was a totally different challenge. Mexico is a high-pressing, active team in front of a loud, boisterous crowd. Mexico presented us with good challenges, but also good learning opportunities." Now, guys, I watched a little bit of the match last night, and even though they were able to draw Uruguay, the U.S. still looked a long way from being a team that can compete in the 2022 World Cup. But Berhalter added during his post-match press conference, "Tonight was about the tenacity and relentlessness of our guys to keep fighting. Overall, I think it was a good step for the group to play a game like this." This gets us to our question of the day at Unc Sam Soccer Pod. What's most important for the U.S. men's national team right now? Steven, let's start with you.
Most important thing right now for the U.S. men's national team is actually results. I know a lot of you listeners, well, maybe a few listeners, but a lot of people on Reddit, the social media, Twitter sphere, Facebook, are all about development. That's great. But you need a winning culture. And right now, the U.S. men's national team have absolutely no winning culture. Yeah, great. Beat up on Panama and Curacao, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago. But, Jake, Arman, are those the type of teams that you would see in a World Cup group stage, round of 16 quarterfinal?
No, but it's the type of teams you'll see in World Cup qualifying, which the U.S. couldn't do last time. So, yeah.
No,
they're still there.
But the thing is, you see the scoreline, Mexico 3, USA 0, and you're like, wow. And then you see the scoreline of Uruguay 1, USA 1, and if you know anything or you read the headline, USA draw the 5th ranked team in the world, it has to mean something. It's still a friendly. I'm sorry, listeners, but the results matter at the end of the day. Because if the United States had won the Gold Cup this past summer, we would be looking at these results and say, hey, you know what? They just won the Gold Cup. In Berhalter, we somewhat trust. There's progress. Okay, Berhalter's stubborn. He's going to stick to his guns. Arman and I were here on a recent episode saying that the lack of changes versus Mexico were growing pains. We actually don't see a problem with what he did there. But the fact that they've been outclassed by Mexico, they can barely compete with any decent teams. The performances are so up and down. You have question marks with depth, with who is even our starting striker. Results help mask those issues. It helps calm people down. Greg Berhalter got testy in his press conference versus Mexico. Guarantee you after the result versus Uruguay, he was less testy. You know why? Because he just put a 1-1 scoreline on the 5th world team. Yes, it was a friendly, but results matter.
I think they should be worried about the Nations League coming up. I mean, sure, they're playing against, a team like, first off, Cuba, which, I mean, isn't that good, but a nice challenge to a Canadian team who's on the rise. No, they need to pay attention to these matches that have competitive value. Look, they need to dominate Nations League because, look, they're better than Canada and they're better than Cuba. If that doesn't happen, the focusing on development thing should kind of go out the window. I think that in like an alarm bell or an alarm should be going off because that's a competitive match. And if they're starting competitive matches, then something is really wrong. That has to be their next focus. And I think also one of their other focus has to be, I guess, capping Serginho Dest. I know it's a really specific one, but obviously the Dutch, or it looks like they're talking to him at some point. They need to try and cap him, but I don't think it's going to happen.
If
I
you're
don't think it happens.
Would you rather play for the Dutch or for the U.S.?
That's tough because he grew up in the U.S. youth systems, and he's friends with a lot of the younger guys. So if that younger generation comes up, he'll be a part of that. But he was also born in the Netherlands. He's, I guess, he has a very Dutch background.
Sure.
So
look,
it's up in the air.
This is a very complicated issue for dual nationals. We know on the show, Arman and I are both dual nationals. We have our hearts in different places. But I'm just asking you, Arman, if you looked at it football-wise, the best opportunity to win silverware on the international stage, I think you personally say, you know what, if you want the challenge, go with the Dutch. With the U.S., you have a guaranteed spot.
Now, guys, I just want to stop you right there. Arman made a great point about development and at what point does development go out the window. And Alexi Lawless, earlier this week on his podcast, had this to say.
But I will say this, Mossy, this is not about qualifying for the World Cup, notwithstanding the incredible failure that was not qualifying for 2018. This is not, nor has it ever been, about qualifying for the World Cup. This is about being able to compete against teams that are better than you and the elites in the world so that when you get to the World Cup, you are able to do something that hasn't been done before. And this is where the rubber meets the road here. Does Greg Berhalter have the players, either now or is he developing them, and maybe those are two different questions and very separate questions, to be able to play the way that he wants? Because right now, this team is struggling. And maybe, and this I was thinking about this earlier, Mossy, and bear with me for a second. Maybe we are seeing something right now, and it's not that I fear this, but I guess I suspect it, that this is a ramp to 2026. And the evolution of this is not going to be realized until that time. And so then you say, well, are we okay with potentially failing again or potentially sacrificing another cycle, either not qualifying for the World Cup or going to a World Cup and not doing well? in order to have this come out the other side, because it's such a long-term project. But if it is, nobody has ever said that. Nobody has said this is about 2026, and I doubt that they ever would. But I have this sneaking suspicion that Greg Berhalter is going to play this way, which is going to mean that the players that we're seeing right now that can't adapt, they're going to age out. But there's going to be another generation behind, both of players and of coaches, to be quite honest, that are going to see the way that he wants to play and are going to be aware that if they want to be a part of it, that's the way that they have to play. And this is part of that bigger plan.
Now, guys, a lot to unpack there with what Lawless just said, but this is the first time I've heard anybody say that, nah, I have a feeling that 2022 isn't the plan here. We're not working towards that. It's 2026, and that you have somebody who is very well connected within U.S. soccer. And Lawless would never admit this if he does know this or if he doesn't know this. But you have somebody well connected within the U.S. soccer and the media speculating that this federation might be willing to throw away a chance at the 2022 World Cup. Yeah. It's crazy.
But good luck selling that to the fan base. You need results. I'm sorry. You need results. People, all they care about in sports is winning.
Yeah, if that's a U.S. this is not master plan, we have a problem. We have a very big problem. I mean, but the thing is, Jake, I kind of see where Lawless is coming from. Like, you're so insistent on playing this style. But, I mean, again, we got to see it in competitive action. I doubt Greg really sticks this in competitive action. I really do. I think you see what happens in what happened in the Mexico match in the Gold Cup, where they kind of go away from it. Henry Bushnell, a friend of the show, actually had a really good article on talking about how this game was an overcorrection from the Gold Cup match. Because if you remember, in the Gold Cup match, they started lumping the ball forward. You know, they went from the principles. This game was all about sticking to the principles. And Henry, he talked about, was like, hey, look, Greg really wanted to do this, but they weren't doing it well. They weren't occupying the spaces right, and they weren't doing it the right way. So it's kind of a waste of time. But I think it's a really good point from Henry, and I want to see how Greg does in a competitive situation. Will he stick to something like this?
Okay, but hold up. If Greg Berhalter here is trying his system, and then he gets to a competitive match and he throws it out the window because it's not working, then what the hell are we doing? Somebody explain to me how this is smart.
That just seems like you're just wasting more time. That's just to me. If he wants to play this style of playing out of the back when the matches don't matter, but then when they do matter, all of a sudden we're going to scrap the playbook and we're going to. I'm not saying scrap it. It's basically like the 9 months before when Dave Sarakin was running the show, which was we're just wandering around aimlessly in the desert, just waiting to
I'm not saying scrap it, but if it doesn't work at some point.
Sure. I mean, you need to make the changes. You absolutely do need to make the changes. But the question is, when is that line going to be drawn for Greg Berhalter? When is he going to sit there and go, crap, I don't know. All right, quickly, before we go to the counterattack, but Arman, what is the timetable for Greg Berhalter in this system? Not asking him to get sacked, but does he have to change it up for the players, or do the players just need to suck it up and learn it?
Honestly, guys, it's not going to be for a while that they're going to realize they have to change it. I think so, because you have Nations League matches, they're going to win those. They should win those, and they should win those handily. If they lose those, it might accelerate the process. But against teams like Cuba and Canada, like, come on.
How bad would it be if they were to lose to Cuba and Canada?
If they lose to Cuba, then like none of those players on the national team should ever play again because they're terrible. And Canada would be a very like an alarming defeat as well. But no, I guess as Klinsmann-esque as it might be during the first couple matches of the qualifiers, if it were not to work, because I think it will work in those Nations League matches. I don't know if it'll work in the qualifier matches, and if it doesn't work, you might end up in the hole that Klinsmann had the team in, or they lost their first 2 games.
So Bruce gonna come back in, leave the Revs for this?
No, it'll be Sarakan. He'll
Bob Bradley to the rescue.
Oh Lord. What about Adrian Heath?
Okay, buddy. You've got it's more likely to be like Jose Mourinho than Adrian Heath.
Yeah, I'd rather have my dog coach than Adrian Heath.
Shots fired. All right, let's go to the counterattack.
Fast-paced, shifty movement, brilliant skill. It's the counterattack with Jake Watroba.
It's counterattack time here on Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast. It's been a little while. I got to dust this bit off. It's been a few months. So let's dive right in to our first topic up for discussion. Now, guys, LAFC, they've been a little shaky the last two matches. They dropped points at home to Minnesota United, losing 2-0, and then drew to Orlando City. Diego Rossi saved them in the 77th minute. And my question for both of you is LAFC more beatable than we think? And I know Steven has the hottest takes, so let's start with him.
Oh, I do. I feel like this is Atlanta last year. Slowing down here at the end. They're going to win a Supporters' Shield, no problem. I question whether or not they're going to be able to find that gear. Man, if Ibrahimovic, although it seems unlikely that they're going to make the playoffs, because the Galaxy seem to be falling off a cliff. But if the Galaxy somehow are in the way of LAFC, I mean, come on, it's a toss-up. They're slowing down, and maybe they find that gear and it's, smooth sailing. But right now, yes, they are more beatable than they were 5 weeks ago. There is a blueprint out there for them.
Yeah, so I don't agree with Steven one bit. I actually was talking to a buddy of mine while watching the El Tráfico. Oh my god, I almost saw El Clásico. El Tráfico. And I said, if Vela was actually hurt, would you rest him for the rest of the season, knowing that you basically have number one seed in Supporters' Shield clinched? And we kind of had a discussion about it. And look, Supporters' Shield doesn't mean anything, right? I mean, you get that CCL thing, but who cares, right? You get a little trophy, but we all know it's MLS Cup. There's no reason to press a panic attack. Get Vela healthy.
I'm not pressing the panic attack. I'm just saying that they're a beatable team.
Oh, they're not beatable.
Yes, they are. Minnesota just marched in there and put 2-0 up on them.
Yeah.
And Orlando City. Wow. That result.
Yeah, wow.
Arman, I don't know what you are smoking, but LAFC is a beatable team.
No, they're not beatable.
Yes, they are.
The recent results shouldn't show that they're beatable or anything.
They are. Yes. Jake, Jake, give it to us. Break it.
Look, in a one-game playoff, yes, of course they're beatable. Any team could beat them in a one-off playoff match. We don't have two-legged matches anymore, or two-legged series or playoff matchups in MLS anymore. But look, no Vela in the loss and draw to Minnesota and Orlando respectively. Let's pump the brakes a little bit on the notion that they're this overrated or pushover.
I'm not saying they're overrated. I'm simply saying they are a beatable team.
Any team missing the best player on their roster would see a drop off in performance. Whether that's against Minnesota United or Orlando City or Atlanta United, you're going to see a drop-off in performance. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk a little about my hometown side. Let's talk about specifically Mason Toye. He has 6 goals and 3 assists in 440 MLS minutes this year. He started the season on loan with Forward Madison in USL League One, and now he's pretty damn important for the Loons. Should he be on Greg Berhalter's radar? Arman?
Yes, I think he should be, actually, because we need more competent forwards in the U.S. soccer pool, and Toye seems like a really interesting, strong, pacey. He knows being in the right position as well. Nice clinical finisher. We saw that with the U23s. We like that. And I want to see him be rewarded for that strong U23 performance. I also wouldn't mind seeing him with the Olympics, on the Olympic team.
Yes,
Greg takes it down that way, that'd be perfect.
By the way, spending time at Madison forward, going to Minnesota United national team, this is good. This is what you want to see. You want to see these opportunities come about. If you're Greg Berhalter and this is youth movement, why not give him a chance? Bye-bye Jossie Zardes. Let the youngsters come up, because if we're planning for 2026, I think Jossie by that time will be too old. Josie Altidore by 2026 will be too old. You got to start popping them up, start getting them ready. Why not start them early?
Yeah, it's been a hot toy summer in these parts.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Don't do that again, please. Please stop. Please stop.
Look, there's no depth at the number 9 position for the national team. It's Altidore, then it's Sargent. I guess if you want to include Jossie Zardes in there, you can as well. But I think, he definitely should be on Greg Berhalter's radar right now. And I think he warrants a look here at some point, whether that's in, Cupcake Camp come January or the Nations League. I don't know, whenever it may be. Maybe the Nations League is a little bit too soon. But I do think that Mason Toye should be on Berhalter's radar, and I think he definitely deserves a look here in the very near future. But let's keep things rolling here within MLS. Let's talk a little Josef Martinez. He has scored in 13 consecutive league matches, surpassing his previous MLS all-time record. Since MLS began play in 1996, the Atlanta United forward's consecutive game scoring record is third best in the world. Martinez sits behind only Norwegian forward Tor Henning Hammer, who scored 15 straight league games for Estonian club Flora Tallinn in 2003. And also a guy named Lionel Messi. Have you guys heard about this guy?
No.
He, in 2013-2014 season, scored in 21 consecutive league games for FC Barcelona. And guys, the question I have for you is, does Josef Martinez surpass Messi's consecutive games scoring record? And does it mean anything?
Will he do it? Not sure. Does it mean something? Yeah. But Major League Soccer, I don't know. Do we really care that Messi scored in 21 straight games? Not really. And honestly, it'd probably be broken by Messi or Ronaldo when they come to Major League Soccer.
Yeah, when it comes to MLS, baby. Ooh. With Inter Miami. That should be fun. Yes, if he breaks that record, he is better than Messi. Steven, if we do that math, I think that shakes out.
That greater signing points.
That greater towards Joseph, yeah. I think he's better.
All right.
All right, well, let me ask you guys a harder question then. Is Josef Martinez too good for MLS?
Yes.
Wow.
That was not hard. That was
a softball, right. Jake. You set that one right down the middle of the plate.
Okay, should he be like in a Liga MX right now? Would he be doing this in Liga MX?
Yes. He belongs in Serie A or the Premier League with a mid-table side.
Whoa. Okay, well, we're going to change subjects, but I do want you to remember that I believe Josef Martinez couldn't cut it at Young Boys. So...
That's fair. That's fair because Young Boys is top of the class in European football. Before
we say Serie A, let's just remember he couldn't cut it.
He couldn't cut in Serie A either.
Well, there we go. So anyway, let's move on here. Let's talk some rumors. A little silly season here. Chris Whittingham, English language commentator for Univision, had this to say during the Miami Dolphins radio broadcast. He said, radio in Catalunya reporting that David Beckham has reached out to Lionel Messi and his team about playing for Inter Miami. Also says that the financial offer would be huge and that the Barcelona board is aware of it. Now, guys, my question to you is a Messi signing more important to the league than David Beckham's?
Beckham, he was the first to come. He set everything up. Without Beckham, you would never have Messi come. Just saying. So, Beckham is 1A. Messi would be 2A.
No, this would be the biggest signing in MLS history, like by far. This guy is a
Biggest
living
signing,
legend.
yeah, but put it in context.
Living
Where
legend.
is the league today versus when Beckham came?
Messi will provide a greater jump for the league. I'll say it.
That's a different question.
I actually agree with Arman. I think Messi will be bigger, and I think while Beckham signing opened the door for DPs and stuff like that, I think if Messi were to come here next summer,
but Jake,
it might open up more doors financially for the league and more spending avenues for the league to acquire or bring in even better players.
But isn't there a problem, though, if you pay Messi a ridiculous amount, right, salary-wise? Don't you have a league have to make sure that the players at the bottom end of the roster are getting compensated correctly and properly?
That's why CBA negotiations are important, baby.
Yeah, I know. It's coming up, but
sexy.
MLS has to be very careful because it's great that you have Messi, but Messi can make more money by putting up one Instagram post than some of these players do in a whole season.
No, you're not wrong, but I also think that if I'm one of the lesser-known players in the league, I also understand where Messi sits in terms of his celebrity status and my celebrity status. It's he's the best footballer on the planet. I'm just some schmuck that's every now and then selected into the 18 of a squad. So in MLS, so you kind of have to know where you are here in the football food chain, if you will. So that's just my take on it. If I'm making an MLS player making $80,000 and Lionel Messi comes in here and he's making $20 million a year or whatever the hell David Beckham wants to give him, that can't possibly rub me the wrong way. I'm sorry. Well, that's it for the counterattack, guys. Great job as always. And now let's kick it over to Arman. Let's do a little 2 stars, 1 catfish. That title just rolls off the tongue nicely.
USA style.
USA style. So, number 1 star, Serginho Dest, guys. Really lively. He's really good. Too bad the USA won't have him for much longer. The 2nd star is Jake's favorite, Jordan Morris, for scoring a fluky goal in the 1-1 draw against Uruguay. I like that, though. It kind of relieves the pressure from Greg, A good draw in that disgusting baseball field.
Yes.
We love to see it.
Yes.
The final catfish, El Tri, Mexico. It's supposed to be your best team. And it was 4-0 to Argentina without Messi. We call it the Ewing theory. When you take away the best player, the team starts playing better. I think that's what we have with Argentina, and that's why Mexico is our catfish. How can we all think they're so good and then get crushed by Argentina?
Wait,
no
Arman,
sense.
it's friendly and silly season. Results don't matter. According to some people out there, results don't matter, so consistency.
Why are you so mad? It's just Twitter.
I know. It's
And
fun.
Reddit,
fun.
and Reddit.
It's fun to annoy people, though.
Why are you so mad? It's just a game. It's just a game.
It's just a game. That's true. Anyway, listeners, at Sam Soccer Pod, we want to hear from you. Anything else said on the show? Disagree? Agree? We want to hear from you because we've been getting in a lot. DMs, people tweeting at us. We love it. Absolutely love it. Question of the day: what's most important for the U.S. men's national team? I said results. Armand said Nations League. Jake, I don't think you really commented much on it, but I know you're thinking a winning mentality
and building confidence. That's what's most important for the team right now.
Anyway, at Jake Watroba, at Arman Kafai, at Steven Jodder, and until next time.